but I got zero sleep. Let me tell you, out here in the country, folks, it is whisper quiet. And I spray foamed this house when I built it, so it's like an upside down beer cooler. It's super efficient. You know me, I'm a tightwad. I don't like to waste money. Super efficient, but it also makes it super quiet. I mean, it is whisper quiet in this house. You can't hear anything. I go I go to Austin and like a dummy, I get a hotel that is right on I-35. I didn't get a wink of sleep. Not a wink of sleep. It was awful, but I am so glad to be home. So look, let's get at it. Let's do this. I hope your coffee is as good as mine because, man, I tell you what, mine is pretty damn good. All right, folks, let's do this. Before we talk about the Veepstakes and everything that's going on there, we're going to talk about a little bit about Trump. We're going to talk a little bit about Colin Allred at the end of the show. It has been a good week. It is good to be a Democrat right now. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling really good. I mean, life is just roses right now. Last week was insane in fundraising. $200 million in a week. What? All of the polls show Kamala Harris leading in all the battleground states. It's just, you can't ask for anything better. You just can't ask for anything better. The right wingers are desperately trying to hold on. They're like, well, no, the polls show that, it's within the margin of error and this stuff. Yeah, but polling's broken, folks. Polling has been broken. Every poll you see, you've got to add +5 to the Democrat. You just do because of the models they're using to contact people. And that bears out through every the last 10 years of elections. Polling has been wrong about how well the Democrat's going to perform. This has just been a outstanding week. And y'all know, I love Doug Emhoff. I really do. I have met the guy. I'm a hugger. He's a hugger. It's just great, man. And he's just about the nicest person you have ever met. He really is. But he loves his wife. He does love his wife. He is no Ted Cruz. He's not going to sit there and let somebody disrespect his wife. So they asked him about the Kamala thing that Trump always does. He intentionally mispronounces her name all the time. And here's Doug Emhoff. I'll let him handle it because he handles it perfectly.
Let me end with this, Mr. Trump. I know you have so much trouble pronouncing her name. But here's the good news. After the election, you can just call her Madam President.
He should have dropped that mic right there. He should have just held that mic up and dropped it. That was perfect. Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. And the corporate media is just falling back on itself. They just don't know what to do. They don't know how to, the corporate media is in the tank for the Republicans. They've been trying to prop up Donald Trump to get that sweet, sweet ad money. That, $16 billion projected. It's actually going to be more than that when they're done. I predict it's going to be closer to $20 billion spent on this election. And the corporate media is a huge recipient of those dollars. They just are. So it's got to be a horse race to them. And they're turning themselves in knots trying to find ways to attack Kamala Harris, and they can't do it. They actually hired a team of experts to take a look at her finances because, it's kind of a big deal when you're a senator. There are bills being put forward right now that they're trying to limit senators and congresspeople's ability to trade and Supreme Court justices' ability to trade stocks. There's been a lot of stories, you've seen them, about inside trading. Really played a significant role in the Georgia election in the last cycle. It was really fantastic. So they went after Kamala Harris and they said, we want to look at your finances. Well, Kamala Harris isn't Donald Trump. She's not hiding her finances at all. And when they went and took a look at hers, perfection. All of her investments, all of her income from investments comes from passive income. She is not making money off trading. So, yeah, that is fantastic. They have nothing they can go, there's no conflicts of interest. She's just going to be a public servant because her income comes from passive. It's passive income from investments. That means when the market does better, when the economy does better, she does better. It's not based on, can you create some tragedy in which I can go out and buy a stock? I mean, this is literally telling you her interests are your interests. So yeah, it's been a great week. I mean, a great week. Everything is moving the right direction. Everything. And the Republicans can't help. Donald Trump cannot help but saying the quiet part out loud. We have been telling you about the 2025 project. The press is finally, let me pause for a second. You have power, folks. You do. You have power. The corporate media is going to try to put a narrative out there. But if you don't click on it, if you don't go along with it, and you go to social media with your own narrative, they're going to pay attention to that. They are. And I have got to tell you, it is working. The whole 2025 project thing, Uncle Russ, exactly. We are the jury, 100%. Great way to put it. Absolutely fantastic. You folks are driving the narratives right now. You really are. For good and for bad, we're gonna have, I tell you things when things aren't good, when they aren't things that you want to hear, but it's something that you need to hear. I will be honest with you, and I will tell you anyways. You know that. I mean, I'm not afraid to tell you, hey, don't do this or don't do that or what, but right now you're doing a fantastic job of driving the narrative, and the media is picking up on it. The corporate media has picked up on the 2025 project. They have not let them go with that BS that Trump was trying to push about it. 2025 project, never heard of it. Who's that? When the corporate media came out and said, yeah, that's not going to fly because everybody that wrote the 2025 project works for you or did work for you. And oh, by the way, here's footage of you praising the Heritage Foundation for coming up with the 2025 project. So yeah, that's been fantastic, folks. And it is driving stuff like this coming out. This kind of stuff would have flown completely under the radar had it not been for you and the fact that you are driving this narrative.
And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. And again,
in 4 years, we're going to have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. He is saying the quiet part out loud. He is saying exactly what we have been telling you he is going to do. And he means it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. MJ Daniel, he means it. Just like he said, well, I'll only be a dictator on day one. Yeah. I've never seen a dictator that gave up power. Ever. That's how it's going for the Trump campaign. Sharon Reddy, thanks for the support. I really appreciate you. You keep the lights on around here. You make it so that I can do this full time. I am very grateful. Sharon Reddy says, we won't need to vote again. That is not happening. Doug Emhoff for first gentleman. Absolutely. Doug Emhoff is going to be one of the best first spouses we have ever had. He really is, folks. I cannot rave about Doug Emhoff enough. I can't. He is a wonderful, nice man. I can't wait for Christmas with Doug Emhoff. I can't. That is going to be fantastic. He loves his family. Oh, and just as a side note, one of the narratives that they're really trying to push, because the right wing has always had this conservative Jewish vote. They have. They're Jewish people are not a monolithic block, just like Black people or Hispanic people or Asian people or any group. Catholics, no group is a monolithic block. Inside that block, there are some ultra wealthy Jewish folks and some organizations that are ultra conservative. And they have been trying to attack Kamala Harris by saying that she hates Jews. Doug Emhoff is Jewish. Her husband is Jewish. Her children are Jewish. But no, yeah, you're going to try to spin it that she hates Jews. I mean, it's really been a good week, folks. I am telling you, it has been a really good week to be a Democrat. It has. And it's just going in the right direction because they picked J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance has been a nightmare since he got on the ticket. Because he's J.D. Vance, for Christ's sake. And I absolutely have to love the fact that this came out of Junior. This came out of Donald Trump Jr. He was the big one inside the Trump campaign that said, you got to pick J.D. Vance. They love him in MAGA, yada, yada, yada. J.D. Vance is the gift that will always keep on giving. Yeah, great comment there. Yes, J.D. Vance is a clown. Donald Trump and the Republicans have been trying to run away from abortion. I told you, we are in that part of the cycle where they come to you and say, I didn't say all that crap that you saw me say. It didn't happen. I'm not that guy. What? I bragged about killing Roe v. Wade. What? Me? No, I don't want to. No, we'll just let the states decide. Here's J.D. Vance. Audio came out of J.D. Vance talking about a national ban on abortion.
Do you think it will be resolved nationally? That's Adrian's. He was very serious about it. He was like, it's going to be resolved nationally. And I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would like abortion to be illegal nationally. I don't, Adrian's like a smart lawyer, and I'm not. He
definitely is. I mean, he's great. I mean, do you think it will be resolved nationally? That's Adrian's. He was very serious about it. He was like, it's going to be resolved nationally. And I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would like abortion to be illegal nationally.
Okay. I believe you. J.D. Vance is for a national ban on abortion. Per J.D. Vance. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that electorally. It's only like 70, 80% of the country that doesn't believe it. And if you don't think that this is really having an effect, folks, go to your social media and do a little search for the villages. And I know what you're saying. You longtime politicals are like, what? The villages, that's right-wing crap, man. That's Trump country. Oh, no. No. The villages just had a massive one of their notorious golf cart parades that they have. Yeah. This was a Kamala Harris golf cart parade. Hundreds and hundreds of people in the villages coming out for Kamala Harris. It is amazing. It just doesn't get any better. It really, well, you know what? Keep saying that. It doesn't get any better. But it does. It does. JD Vance is not smart. JD Vance doesn't understand the internet, and JD Vance just outed his search history. I don't know how to frame this. I really don't know how to frame this. This is just really freaking weird. JD Vance thought he was being really cute. He thought he was being really cute. He put this out. He says, maybe the internet was a mistake. He's, being all high and mighty, moral guy, this, that, and the other. And he posts a clip of a woman getting violated by a dolphin. Yeah, what JD Vance didn't understand is how the internet works. When you search something on the internet, it puts those words in bold on your search. So women and dolphin are what JD Vance likes to search on the internet, per his own post. I really don't know what to do about that. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know what to say about that other than, holy shit. The Republican vice president candidate is searching the internet for dolphins violating women. Yeah. Okay. And if you don't think that the corporate media is in the bag for the Republicans, I want you to just imagine for a second any Democrat in the universe had been just busted doing that internet search. What would it look like? Yeah, no kidding. So a dolphin on a couch. Oh my God. Oh my God. So yeah, let's just start there. Let's just start happy and feeling good. And let's talk about the Veepstakes. A few things have happened. A couple things have changed. A few people are in, a few people are out. One of them that is out, per her own announcement, is Gretchen Whitmer. She's 100% behind the Harris campaign. She's going to work for the Harris campaign. And she is 100% absolutely going to keep working. You come in, you say that every damn time, dude. What is wrong with you? I don't know. Anyways. Yeah, Gretchen Whitmer has said, no, she's out. She's gone. She's not running. She's staying in Michigan. She's happy staying in Michigan. That's just the way she is. The way she feels about it. That's what she's doing. So yeah, we have one that is out. We have another one that I believe may be out. Yeah, exactly. Why is it everybody that's always against the board? Yeah. Great question there. I appreciate the question. I was a little sad to see that. And let's kind of do this as a bit of a discussion. I'd love to know how you feel as we talk about these folks being in, being out. I like Gretchen Whitmer. I thought she'd have been a good choice. Again, you've got that whole thing about our bench. I mean, there were no really wrong choices. And just if I say something positive, I'm not saying something negative about another candidate. I'm not. Okay. So let's just be clear about that. I really like Gretchen Whitmer, and I'm sad that she's not still in contention. But yeah. Pete Buttigieg is out. He is not going to be the candidate. He is not. You folks know I am a Pete Buttigieg guy. I am. I was a Pete Buttigieg supporter in the primaries in the last presidential election. I like Pete Buttigieg, but he does not bring enough to the table nationally. He brings a lot to the table. He fires up their base. There's a lot of baggage out there, and I call it baggage. It's not really baggage because it's not really legitimate. But from his job as transportation secretary, there are a lot of narratives that the right wing pushed attacking him because, they know he's a great candidate. They know he's a super sharp guy. But there's a lot out there. And if you're having to make a quick decision and you only have 3 months left in the election, you don't really have time to deal with those narratives. You don't have time to say, okay, this is my guy and I want this guy because he's super effective, and then spend weeks upon weeks upon weeks destroying someone else's narrative about your candidate. So he is off the table. Another big one that's off the table. This is going to shock a lot of people and hurt a lot of people's feelings, but he is off the table. Josh Shapiro is off the table. He is out. One of the reasons he is out is this. He's got a history in Pennsylvania. This is nothing. It really is. This is a nothing burger. This is stupidity. But the corporate media works for the Republicans, and this has blown up all over the place. This came from a Democrat. This came from a Democrat. Erin McClellan, she's state treasurer. I hate self-inflicted injuries. I hate self-inflicted injuries. Erin McClellan, okay, a little bit about Pennsylvania first. There is a common statement about Pennsylvania. They say you have Philadelphia and you have Pittsburgh, and in between is Alabama. In that area in between, you have a lot of press, a lot of small town press, but you have a lot of press that will run negative stories about a candidate. They will. They have been attacking Ellen McClellan. Josh Shapiro has not been highly supportive of Ellen McClellan because some of those attacks on her are legitimate. So he's somewhat distanced from her. So she shivved him in the back and said, oh, no, you don't want Josh Shapiro. He's got baggage. You want Roy Cooper. You want Roy Cooper. This was a horrible mistake on her part. She is in a tough race against a Republican that is actually doing well. And what she brought up was a Republican attack that really has had no legs. This is what she brought up. This is what it's all about. This is Mike Vereb. Mike Vereb was a legislative liaison that worked with Josh Shapiro. She didn't work for Josh Shapiro. He worked with Josh Shapiro, and he got accused of sexual harassment. Credibly accused. He did it. He did it. And they settled that case because he was Josh Shapiro's legislative liaison. They sued Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro settled the case for $300,000 and then fired this asshat. Well, Republicans being Republicans, they find something wrong with everything. One, they were pissed that they settled it. They wanted this to stay in the news forever and ever and ever. You know how they are. They just want anything negative that they can say. I think Joe Biden is going to enjoy his retirement. I think he is. Joe Biden's given us almost his entire adult life. I think that man deserves Mai Tais on the beach. He has been a wonderful human being, and I hope his last few years on this earth are amazing. I really do. Thank you for that comment, though. Thank you for that comment. So anyways, this has been a Republican attack. She recycled a Republican attack. They're saying, well, he didn't fire him fast enough. If they found fault with everything that he did there, fact is, it was a credible accusation. They believed her. They paid her. They settled. They didn't fight her. And then they fired the asshat. But no, you've got a Democrat going after a Democrat. Folks, don't do that. The one thing that Ronald Reagan ever did that was a good thing was he took to his party and he said, no Republican attacks another Republican, period. That's a rule. We need to adopt that rule. The Republicans will do enough damage on their own. They will have enough attacks on their own. If you are a selfish son of a bitch Democrat who attacks another Democrat, you need to get canceled. And that's exactly what's going to happen to her. That was just the stupidest thing she could possibly do in a tough race, was to sit there and attack another Democrat. That was just idiocy. That was just idiocy. So yeah, Josh Shapiro, in his vetting, they're just saying no. He brings a lot to the table. He is strong in Pennsylvania, but we're going to do strong in Pennsylvania anyways. We don't need and don't have. Remember, folks, you got 3 months. That's it. We are in the tail end of this. The one Achilles heel problem with the fact that we have just switched candidates at the convention is that time is a problem. You need a candidate that is on message immediately. There's no time for batting down any negatives at all. So anything that comes up whatsoever is a disqualifier. Another person off the table is Andy Beshear. Andy Beshear is not going to be the VP. All of the strategists, all the insiders have looked at Andy Beshear, and he has not generated the excitement. Strategically, he's not a bad choice. Puts Kentucky in play. He's very strong in Kentucky. He does very well in Kentucky. He handles himself well. He just hasn't generated the excitement. He just hasn't. And again, we've got 3 months. The VP candidate has to hit the ground running. He has got to be strong. And folks, as we talk about this, we're talking about what is the scuttlebutt today. Okay? This is not saying that Andy Beshear can't realize, okay, I'm getting passed up. I got to do something, and spend the next week just setting the world on fire, and all of a sudden he becomes a top tier choice. That is not to say Josh Shapiro doesn't settle some of the nerves within the party and fix. So what I'm telling you is, I am telling you where people are at today. Okay? I just want to be completely clear about that. That doesn't mean that these people can't change their fates. It's possible. Not likely, but it's possible. Pritzker's out. Pritzker's not going to be on the ticket. Pritzker's going to work with Kamala Harris. Pritzker's going to support Kamala Harris, but Pritzker's not going to be on the ticket. He is out of consideration. They don't need an Illinois Democrat on the ticket. They just don't. That was it. The other person that made a showing was Tim Walz. Same situation with Tim Walz. Other than the fact that he doesn't really bring any advantage in this short amount of time, this short window that we have. Tim Walz has a Tim Kaine problem. Everybody loves Tim Walz. Everybody loves Tim Walz. I totally understand your comment. I totally understand your comment, Susan. Everybody loves Tim Walz. The guy is super, super likable. He is super likable. The problem is he's just like Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine is super likable, and he was a horrible VP choice. And Kamala Harris isn't going to make that mistake. And again, we've got Minnesota. So yeah, Tim Walz is off the table. Hell, they even look alike. Tim Kaine and Tim Walz actually even look alike. So yeah, that leaves us with the strong candidates that are still swinging. And again, I want to stress to you folks, these are the people that are leading. These are the people that today, if the decision was made today, this is the pool that they would choose from. Okay? That doesn't mean over the next 2 to 3 days that someone else that we've taken off the table can't change their fate. That, this is all fluid. It is moving fast. But right now, these are the people the campaign are leaning towards. In third place is Roy Cooper. Roy Cooper, for the rest of he's the governor of North Carolina. He is term limited. He will not be the governor after this next election. He will not. So we're not losing anything by taking the governor of North Carolina and possibly ending up with a Republican governor in North Carolina. Roy Cooper, he's got zero back. Roy Cooper, to me, he's like mayonnaise on a sandwich. He is Andy Griffin. That is the best comparison I can give you about who Roy Cooper is. Legislatively, he is good. Communication-wise, he is good. He is literally like listening to Andy Griffin. He really is. He is not a firebrand. He is not. Yeah. I'm seeing the comments from people that actually know Roy Cooper. He is a little boring. He's a very serious candidate. He is a very serious candidate who does serious work. We've talked about that before, the difference between Republicans and Democrats. Republicans don't govern. They can't govern. All they do is it's shiny object after shiny object after shiny object. Democrats, they do the work, the boring, making the sausage of governing. That is where Roy Cooper shines. That is absolutely where Roy Cooper shines. If you wanted a serious man to push serious policy that is reasonable, he is conservative to Kamala Harris's liberal. He balances the ticket. He is seriously being looked at. But I will tell you, folks, he is not a firebrand. He has not got massive national appeal. That's why he's in third place. But he is a great freaking guy, and you would love him. You will love him. If they elevate him to national status and they put him on the ticket, he will do a good job. He will. And when he gets elected, you'll be glad he's there. He's just an all-around good and decent person, and he's still in contention. He is still in contention. There, of course, we have Mark Kelly, who is tied for first. We have Mark Kelly, who is tied for first. He is one of the two top contenders. And folks are loving him. He is generating tons and tons and tons of just fantastic energy. People are super excited about the possibility of him being on the ticket. He has a terrific resume. The only negatives that he brings with him are Kamala Harris and Mark Kelly on the same ticket will generate literally hundreds of millions of dollars from the 2A bros, from the gun industry. That ticket would absolutely revitalize the NRA. And the last 3 months of this election would be guns, 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 guns. The corporate media, you have to remember, folks, that caveat, the corporate media is Team Trump. The corporate media is going to be the outlet for Team Trump. They are going to speak for Team Trump. So if you get Harris Kelly, yes, we are going to have excitement. Yes, he has a great resume. Yes, he is very conservative. He is. He's not a liberal. He's not. Legislatively, he is very conservative. They have actually had to pressure him to get him to sign on to some workers' rights legislation. He's not a lefty. They will paint him as a lefty, though. I promise you, if he's on the ticket, it will be guns, guns, guns. That's all you will ever hear. But the fact that he generates so much excitement, that he drives Democrats to the polls, he is absolutely tied for first in the Veepstakes. Yes. The other person, I told you Eric Smith. I told you I liked Eric Smith. I really liked Eric Smith. He is not in contention. He is not. That was my choice, but they chose someone that actually has more notoriety than Eric Smith. And, well, he's just a freaking celebrity. And I love you folks. I really do. I really do love you folks. You are so well informed. You really are. The other person that is being considered in the top two is Bill McRaven. Admiral McRaven. He is the guy that was in charge when they killed bin Laden. He's a former SEAL. He has gone on after leaving the military. He became chancellor at the University of Texas. He's a Texan. He puts Texas in play. He helps us with Texas. He makes Texas competitive. He has no baggage, none whatsoever. He is an extreme balance to the ticket. He is. You have everything that Kamala Harris is versus everything that Admiral McRaven is. These are two very different resumes, and they check a lot of boxes together. Downside, not everybody knows who the hell he is, man. You say the name Bill McRaven, and people are, who? That, we have a very short amount of time. We have a very short window to work with. He has notoriety among a lot of people who already vote. People that don't vote, people that are not politicos, don't know who Bill McRaven is. And they're not going to pull up a picture of Bill McRaven in an astronaut suit. They're not, I mean, that works with Mark Kelly. So yeah, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. Admiral McRaven is making a lot of money not being in politics right now. His speaking engagements are off the hook. They are. Guys, I have to take a little intermission. I need just a second. I apologize. I am 2 pots of coffee in this morning. I need to step out for just 1 second. We're going to have a brief intermission. I will be right back. I'm coming. I am coming. Oh, forgive me. Whew. Sorry about that. I apologize. I am sorry about that. Whew. Thank you for hanging in there. Out of the choice between Mark Kelly and Bill McRaven, I choose McRaven. I would. He is the best balance to the ticket. He's not guaranteed, though. There's going to be a lot of negotiations. I'm telling you, it's not a lock. It is not a lock that he would be the nominee. There is one reporter who's made up some bullshit, and I got to tell you, I really hate this about people in the media. She claims that Bill McRaven contacted her and said he's not in. He's deferring and choosing not to be vice president. That was crap. That was crap. So if you go search on social media Bill McRaven, that might pop up. I just want to warn you about that. As a reporter by the name of Tumulty, she's full of shit. She is. Someone with the notoriety of Bill McRaven, if he was choosing, it's like when Gretchen Whitmer said, I'm not putting myself in contention. That was every single news outlet that got that. If Bill McRaven was going to say, I don't want to be in contention, I don't want to be considered, he wouldn't send it to some little known reporter you never heard of that was once an employee of a big paper and tell them and no one else. That wouldn't happen. That is just bullshit. That is somebody that was taking a swing because Bill McRaven's been considered for a VP slot before and he passed on it. That was somebody that was just simply saying, I'm going to play the odds and try to seem like I know shit and I'm still relevant. So I'm going to say that he said that just in case he chooses not to run again. And this is why I absolutely adore you. I saw your comment. You said Karen Tumulty is not little known, but you get my point. To you, she is not known because you are the most well-informed audience there is. You have to understand, you are not normal. You are above average. You are not normal. Your average person out there has no freaking clue who Karen Tumulty is. They just don't. And that's the point I was making. Yeah. And that is just a testament to you and how well informed you are that you even know who Karen Tumulty is. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about Colin Allred. That's my Veepstakes update for the day. We'll talk again Wednesday and see how things have changed, but that's where it's at. I'm sorry. As much as I love Katie Porter was never in contention. She was never in contention. So just to recap, Buttigieg is out. Josh Shapiro is out. Gretchen Whitmer is out. It is down to Roy Cooper, Mark Kelly, and Bill McRaven. And right now, if you forced me, if you put a gun to my head and said, you put those three in order, right now it is Mark Kelly, Bill McRaven in second place, and then it is Roy Cooper in third place. Any one of those guys would be freaking exceptional. Freaking exceptional. If I got to choose, I would choose Bill McRaven, but you know me, I'm looking for that on the ticket. I am looking for someone that would be the death knell to the Trump-Vance campaign. Vance is such a buffoon. He is such a clown. Trump himself, he's Trump. He's an unserious joke. And Bill McRaven is the nail in his coffin. That is hilarious. Thank you. Thank you for the support. I appreciate you keeping the lights on around here. I appreciate it. My rapper name is now Tupac. So how do you folks feel about that? Before we move on, how are you folks feeling about what's going on? And again, I'm calling people, I'm talking to people, I'm trying to get their opinion on what's going, what their takes are. What are they seeing? How do you feel about Mark Kelly? How do you feel about McRaven? How do you feel about Cooper? These are the ones that are really leading the race. And I want to touch on Andy Bashir while you're putting those comments out, and it takes a second to type them out. I want to talk about Andy Bashir for a second again. I have no negatives to say about Andy Bashir. What took Andy Bashir off the table was he just did not generate excitement. No one said, oh my God, I hope it's Andy Bashir. The guy is really good at this. The guy wins in Kentucky, for Christ's sake. So yeah, I am not disrespecting any of the candidates that I said are not being taken seriously. I am not disrespecting any of them. Andy Bashir is fantastic. I would love this myself personally, if you're just asking non-political, not as a Democrat, just as Paul. I would love Pete. He is a massive turnout machine for Republicans. I don't think with 3 months left in the campaign, and that's really it. That is the disqualifier for Pete. You have to look at this in the framing, the window of reality of what we're dealing with. This is not a campaign that started a year ago. This is a campaign with 3 months left. And that's what's shooting. That's what's shooting Pete Buttigieg in the foot is while he's such a tremendous positive, he also generates immediate negatives, and we don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of time to fight those fights. We really don't. Yeah. Amen, Anthony. Well said. Well put. Well put. That's where I think most people are, is it doesn't matter. We are so 100% fired up about Kamala Harris. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So yeah, we're gonna continue on with this little roundtable discussion for just a few minutes, and then we're going to talk about Colin Allred, because we've got something to really discuss there that's important. Robert Hussey, Pete Buttigieg would make a great Secretary of State, if not VP. He would. I think Anthony Blinken has done an amazing job, and if Kamala Harris asked him to continue, it would be an easy continuation. Because remember, none of these cabinet appointments are typically 4 years long. A cabinet appointment is usually 3 years, and they change them up. So yeah, to ask Blinken to continue would be great. The fact that, if you don't know, folks, Pete Buttigieg is brilliant. I mean, this guy just teaches himself languages because did you hear the story of how he learned to speak Norwegian? There was a book that he wanted to read that he had that was in Norwegian, and he couldn't read it, but he wanted to read the book. So he taught himself to speak Norwegian so that he could read the book. I mean, that guy is just, I think he speaks 7 languages fluently. Yeah, Heidi, exactly. He wanted to read a book, and it's not easy. No, it's not. It's not an easy language. It's really not. And he just taught himself. I mean, the guy is really next level smart. Again, I just want to say this again. There are no bad choices here. There aren't. It is crazy how just amazingly good our choices are. Newest Bill, thank you for the support, my friend. I really appreciate you. He did, and doing it when he did, he gutted all of the Heritage Foundation was prepping legal challenges, and by doing it before the convention, we didn't change candidates. We didn't, it was brilliant timing. That has got to be politically the most selfless move I've ever seen anybody do. And it just cements for me what a wonderful human being that Joe Biden is. We were just talking about that purple star. In short, Pete is a massive right-wing turnout machine. They've been attacking Pete Buttigieg on the right. They already have narratives in place. So with 3 months left in the race, what you're doing is you're giving the Republicans in Pete Buttigieg someone that they already have pre-developed attacks on, ready to go, that are already nationally known. You literally get every right-winger doing this. Pete Buttigieg, oh yeah, remember when we talked about the train wreck and we talked about okay. And then that's what flows all over social media. And, it is this simple situation, this simple calculus. He is an amazing choice. And if he was the choice a year ago, if he was a choice 7 months ago, it's a very different discussion because he would be a gift as a vice president. He would. Could you imagine Pete Buttigieg traveling the world on behalf of our government? But we have to look at that reality. Everything has to be framed in there's 3 months left in this campaign. The VP cannot come out and the corporate media cannot be already have pre-prepared attacks on them. That just cannot be the case. And if you think the corporate media isn't in the tank for the Trump campaign, we're going to talk about this briefly, very briefly. I know I angered a lot of you by the emails you sent me that were very angry when I talked about this in the last show. I am not going to hammer this. I'm not going to go on about it. But I need you to start trusting me politically. I really need you to start trusting me politically. I told you the Trump ear thing, what they were going to say, what the corporate media was going to do. This is the last 24 hours of the news cycle. The AP wrote a story, and if you don't understand how the wire services work, you've got Reuters and AP. They will have a journalist write a story, and they've become very biased. Both Reuters and AP are no longer the trustable news sources they once were. They have become very biased. AP wrote a story that was exactly, there are at last count 157 of these stories out there that have picked up the AP wire service story. And folks, the AP wire service story is exactly what I told you it would be. The FBI confirms that it was a bullet or a bullet fragment that damaged Trump's ear. And you are a bunch of jerks that are making crap up about Trump, and he's a victim. That is the AP story. That is the narrative. Now, I tried very hard to get you to understand that the story that we should have had coming out of this was there was no real damage. It was a nick. It was a nick. And you can tell by he's not wearing a bandage now. And you can see that it was just the tiniest little nick. He's got makeup on. If you look at it closely, he's got a little foundation right here and a little foundation right here. He's got a little makeup on, and there's no damage. It was just a nick. That was it. And what we could have been saying today is, why did it bleed? Why did it bleed so bad? Oh, yeah. Trump has a heart problem. Trump is on massive blood thinners. That's why it bled so bad. And that could have been the narrative. Remember, I told you, you can generate the narrative. By what you say, you can generate the narrative. And had you taken my advice, instead of talking about, oh, it was faked, and talked about why did it bleed so bad when it was just a little nick, that was it. That would have been the narrative that we were talking about. But instead, the AP has run a story that said, you're victimizing Trump. The FBI confirms. And it was exactly what I told you they were going to do. And they did. So please, pretty please, I'm really good at this. I'm really fucking good at this. I am really fucking good at this. Pretty please. When I argue with you and say, please don't do that, I'm not telling you because I don't want you to have a good time. I'm not telling you because I don't want you to dunk on Trump or something like that. That is not my goal here. It is, I've seen this before. I've seen what they do, and I can see it coming, and I'm warning you. So, pretty please, with sugar on top, you can still control the narrative. Please ask why he bled so much. Drive that question home. Why did he bleed so much? With a little bitty nick. It's obvious. Just a little bitty nick. Why did he bleed so much? Please ask that question. Because he is an old man. He is the oldest candidate any party has ever run for president. That's right. Joe Biden was never our candidate. He was running to be the candidate, but that convention hasn't happened yet. The Republican Party has now nominated the oldest candidate, forgive me, the oldest candidate ever put forward for president, older than Ronald Reagan. And he just bled like a gut-shot hog from what was obviously a tiny scratch. Because he is obviously on blood thinners, extreme blood thinners. Obviously. You saw it with your own eyes. So pretty please, for me, ask why he bled so much. Make that the narrative. Drive that. saturate social media with it. But speaking about, I told you I wasn't going to go long on it. I'm done with that. Please don't send me angry emails today. Whew, y'all were pissed. I hear you, man. I read your emails. I really do. I really do. Amen. Exactly. Coumadin. Why is he on Coumadin? Whew, y'all were mad. I love you folks. I love you. And I love that I'm seeing some of you that sent me the email still in because we could argue and we're good. We're all good. No, you can send me emails. Send me emails. I love to I read what you send me. I do. I read it, personally read them, and I respond to a lot of them. I do. But look, we need to talk about Colin Allred for a second. Y'all know that I was down in Austin and I was working with sat down. Let me tell you, I had a great sit down with Colin Allred. I did. He was supposed to give us about a half hour of his time. He found the conversation to be compelling enough and useful enough. He's sat with us for over an hour, which is huge. These candidates have their schedules mapped out down to the minute. And he put his schedule back about 45 minutes to keep talking to us. And if you go to his campaign, there's the obligatory after the meeting, take the picture things, and you get to see some of the people that were there. Exactly. Thank you, Brian Peach. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, this is Colin Allred's campaign on X. This is his campaign on X. Now you keep saying it's at Colin Allred 1L TX. You folks keep telling me you understand the assignment. How many of you put that hashtag out there? I understand the assignment. That has been huge over the last week. The amount of participation, people saying, I understand the assignment. I'm going to question if you understand the assignment because I want you to see something. I want you to see something here about Colin Allred's. They are very afraid of Colin Allred. They are. I want to tell you the systems he has put in place, and I can't tell you about everything we discussed. I'm sorry. Some of that was inside discussions that were not meant for the public. But one of the systems they put in place that they're very proud of is they have spent their money coordinating 4 down ballot races. And that doesn't sound like much to a non-politico, but it's huge. I want you to think about every Democrat running from dog catcher to city council to mayor to state rep to everybody. All of that down ballot stuff, judges, JPs, all that down ballot stuff, right? So much time and money is wasted in overlap, messaging overlap. And what I mean by that is every one of those people that are running in those down ballot races all have campaigns. They're all out there competing for volunteers. They're competing for your donations. They're competing to get the message out. And what happens? You get a knock on your door. Hi, I'd like to tell you about, Susie Doe. She's running for X. And then you get another knock on your door. This was a problem with the Beto campaign. Yes, I think they've learned their lesson from that. And then you get another candidate's volunteer. If you are in the right neighborhood, you can get as many as a dozen people. I'd like to tell you about, and it becomes worse than the Jehovah's Witnesses coming to your house. It really does. It gets annoying. And think about it. Every one of those people that show up has wasted time, money, resources, messaging, and they're turning people off. So what did the Colin Allred campaign do? He coordinated with every down ballot race to get a unified message so that you get one guy that shows up and says, hi, I want to tell you about everybody. They're not wasting a single dime of your donations. They're making it as efficient as possible. And that's just one of the systems. We talked about we talked about messaging. We talked about everything. And it was a fantastic conversation. And as we did, we got done, took the obligatory pictures. After every event, you get together and you take the pictures. I have some pictures that are beyond this, and you get to see some of the people that were there. There was Olivia Giuliana was there. She's fantastic, by the way. She is wonderful. She is a wonderful person. Colin Allred and me, and there were just a bunch of other people that were there doing the obligatory pictures. I got a picture of me hugging the guy. I'm a hugger. And we had a talk here, and a great talk. It was really good. It was really good, folks. But I want you to notice something. Tons of likes on every one of these. But the comments section are just plowed under with negativity. The comments aren't full of us. The Ted Cruz campaign, look, you got one guy, Texans for Ted Cruz, and really nasty comments. They were trying to body shame Olivia Giuliana. These comment sections are overrun with trolls, and it's every single post that he puts out. You just get a ton of blue checkmark, nasty trolls that just fill the comments. We've talked about strategy before. We've talked about troll strategy before. Part of the most basic strategy before you get to the 3D chess stuff is to just make everything nasty and unappealing and unfun to discourage people from posting, to discourage you from going and reading people's posts. That is just the most basic thing they do, is just have an AI bot that is trained to say negative shit. That's why it's the same damn insults over and over and over again. And they are deluging Colin Allred's posts. So you told me you understand the assignment. I'm asking you, do you? Because if you understand the assignment, you will go to @Colin Allred, that's COLINALL, 2 L's, one L in Colin, 2 L's in Allred, @Colin Allred TX. All one word, @Colin Allred TX on Twitter, and you will drown those trolls. Do not interact with the trolls. Because if you respond to their messages, you elevate them in the algorithm. Did you know that? When you argue with a troll, you boost their message? Yeah. The correct way to deal with a troll is to ignore them. Flood content with positive messages. Flood content with positive messages. And if you want to tell me that you understand the assignment, well, then the assignment's pretty damn clear. Go to @ColinAllred.com, @Colin, not.com. Stop, Paul. Go to Twitter. Go to Threads. Go to Twitter primarily. Because I have to tell you, Ted Cruz is terrified. They are paying the bots. I'm going to show you here in just a second. They're paying the bots to attack every post Colin Allred puts out, to flood it with negativity, to flood it with misinformation. If you understand the assignment, you will add, it's @ColinAllredTX, all one word. Here you go. In the comments. You can just copy and paste it on X, and you will flood those comments with positive comments, with positive statements. Make them enjoyable. Don't interact with the bots because that elevates their content. You posting contents on Colin Allred's page elevates his content. So yeah, all those Democrats out there that are hitting likes, massive numbers of likes for Colin Allred. You want to flush turd cruise? This is how you do it. You tell me you understand the assignment. This is the assignment. Takes 2 minutes. Go to @ColinAllredTX and post something positive. Why? Because this is real. This is real. The Republicans are paying. I showed you the click farms. I showed you the troll farms. I showed you. Here in Texas, we are being deluged by them. And Ken Paxton stepped in it. He just absolutely stepped in it. He got really angry because during his impeachment, the Republicans that were against him paid the troll farms, the clickbait, the click farms to go out there and attack Ken Paxton. Well, he pushed for a bill to expose when people are paid here in Texas. And these names should be familiar to you if you watch my show. Tim Dunn, Ferris Wilkes. I've talked to you about Jonathan Strickland and Pale Horse Strategies and how he's meeting with Nick Fuentes, and all of these right-wingers. These bots are paid for. So they put legislation forward to where you have to declare that you're a bot or that you're paid. You'll notice I don't have to declare shit because you're the only people that pay me. You're it. That's it. Colin Allred doesn't pay me. The Democratic Party doesn't pay me. You pay me. That's it. You're the reason I can do this full time. Thank you for the support. And yes, that majorly fired on Ken Paxton. And they are trying really hard to put the shit back in the horse on that piece of legislation. They're trying really freaking hard because what they realized is they don't have the support that they thought they did. They didn't realize that their online support is AI made up crap. There are not the numbers of people out there. Bots don't vote. Bots aren't real. But they can discourage a message. And they can keep people from finding out about good things. And that's what they're doing to Colin Allred's campaign page right now. Every post he puts out, there will be 5 good comments and there will be 50 horrible, negative, hateful things said. We need to change that ratio. You need to do that for your candidates. Any other candidate that you like. If you want to see Turd Cruz go away, then yeah, understand the assignment. Do it, baby. Get out there, go to a social media, make it happen. If you've got a great candidate that you'd like to talk to me to talk about that, send me that email. Send me the email. You can go to realtexaspaul.com. My email link is there. Let's do that. Let's do this. Well, folks, it's been well over an hour. I've enjoyed talking to you. I've enjoyed the time with you. Thank you for being here. I'll ask you one more time. Do you understand the assignment? Do you want to flush Turd Cruz? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. And again, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. It allows me to do things like sit here and respond to your emails full time. Hashtag All right, folks, I'm going to be looking for you. I will be going to call an Allred site, and I'll be seeing if you're posting those positive messages and drowning the trolls. Remember, do not argue with trolls. All you do when you post responses to them is elevate their content in the algorithm. Never do that. Never do that. I love you, folks. Thank you for being here. This is Old Texas Paul out. It's been wonderful talking to you again. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for making it happen. Enjoy some Texas cities at night. I'm really out this time. This isn't an intermission where I run and go pee. This is really me leaving. Bye, folks.